Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Blue Jays Today. We're your boys. We always got something to say about the Toronto Blue Jays. I'm your host, Adam Peddle.
And I'm your host, Nicholas Playalog. And today, folks, we're going to be talking about some of the Toronto Blue Jays coaching changes that they made from last year to this season. They just revealed what everybody's title is going to be at the Toronto Blue Jays coaching staff level. It's kind of interesting. There was definitely some movement that transpired. Not necessarily the big one of John Schneider, but okay, you know, whatever.
It is what it is. We'll take it.
We'll take it, guys. We're going to talk about how that could potentially affect the team moving forward. Before we do, please make sure to like, subscribe, comment your thoughts down below. Let's flash over to I think it was Keegan Matheson that made the tweet right here announcing the 2024 Toronto Blue Jays coaching staff.
Yeah, a quick shout out right now to Battlegrounds as well, guys. If you're looking for a great place to party, if you're looking for a Valentine's Day venue and you want to show off those amazing axe throwing skills, go check out Battlegrounds. Go check out their website. It's super safe and super friendly. Yeah, this is the tweet that Keegan Matheson made right here, just breaking down every single coach and all their roles. And there's a few interesting kind of points that we want to kind of bring up here.
Yeah.
Obviously, John Schneider is still the manager of the Toronto Blue Jays, but now you have Don Mattingly. It's his second year as the bench coach for the Blue Jays, and he's got a new title. Last year, he did not have the title of offensive coordinator. And how timely is that to talk about this right now during the NFL wildcard weekend, right? Offensive coordinator for baseball is a little bit different than the offensive coordinator for a NFL team. Whereas you're kind of coming up with the game plan of how you want to attack that pitcher, right? You're not necessarily going in the cages with a guy and working out his mechanics. That's what the coaches, the assistant hitting coaches are for. You know, you're kind of working out the overall strategy of what you want to do. And I think that is the kind of big missing piece, at least in my opinion. I want to get your thoughts too. That from this year, it felt like the strategy of the Blue Jays in 2023 was a lot different. Maybe a lot more contact, hitting the ball the other way, a lot less slugging for home runs. Maybe, do you think that Don Mattingly might have something else to say?
Yeah, I think that it's an important role because you have to have an understanding of your team, because you want to play to the pitcher. You know, you want to play on their weaknesses, but you also want to play to your strengths. And it kind of felt like the Toronto Blue Jays, they were trying to do a little bit too much of both there, you know, where it's like they wanted to play to their strengths, but I mean, a big strength for a long time was like hitting for power, but they kind of got away from that because then they were trying to like play towards, you know, the pitcher and their weaknesses a lot of the time. We were just kind of all over the place, you know. So Don Mattingly, from my understanding, what the role is going to entail is going to walk in and say, hey, I'm making these numbers up right now, but Garrett Cole, he throws the fastball this amount of time. A lot of times he likes to have a sequence where he does this and then he'll hit you here, you know, so keep that. And they'll kind of go in knowing what it is that they're targeting. And the Toronto Blue Jays last season just didn't feel like we really had that, you know?
For me, you know, drawing from my memory of last year, it felt like we were trying to be too cute. Like, yes, I do think there was an overall approach to hit the ball the other way. And like, you saw Bo Bichette do it, but Bo Bichette's always been doing that. But you saw a lot of other players like just cut down the swing, hit it the other way. Look, you could do that on 2 strikes. I'm a big fan. When you're on 2 strikes, you go, you break down your swing, you stay alive, you avoid the strikeout. But a big part of the game that was missing, as I don't, excuse me, as I take a little cough here, I think we're missing a big part of the game, which was to attack early, attack the fastball early. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. was late on so many of his swings with the fastball early. That's the pitch that you got to be getting on, and that's what we didn't see. I'm going to flash over a couple of numbers here. You saw in 2021, in Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s big season, this is the team overall numbers for the Toronto Blue Jays hitting stats. In 2021, we had one of our best slugging years ever, even better than 2015 when we were known as a big slugging team. Like, we dominated. Granted, we had Marcus Semien, and we had our first year of George Springer where his slugging was elite, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr., but I think the difference is that was a game plan that you saw Vladdy do. Attack, attack, attack. And I'm not trying to blame Vladdy, but I think that's a great example of where that mentality kind of stems from. We got to attack. So I'm hoping Don Mattingly has something to say about it and can make that change.
Totally, dude. It felt like the only one who was still doing that was Bo Bichette last year. And shocker, he actually had the best year on the team, arguably so, offensively speaking. So, like, that is something that the Toronto Blue Jays used to do, were really, really good at, and then they got away from it. And I love that Don Mattingly is being put into a situation where he can at least entertain those conversations surrounding hitting, surrounding offense, surrounding scoring runs, because this is something that Toronto Blue Jays fans, we were kind of talking about all last season, being like, hey, that guy used to be pretty good at baseball when he was playing. Like, maybe he should have an opinion on what it is that we're doing at the plate, because clearly what Guillermo Martinez and all the other guys are doing just isn't working. So first thing to note there, he's going to have a role in the offense, and we just absolutely love to see it.
Yeah, last thing I want to say, I think the reason why Bo Bichette worked there last year is because the approach that they were trying to implement for everybody else was already Bo Bichette's approach. Like, I've seen a video of his father breaking down the 2-strike swing where it's like, okay, like you've earned a swing out of your ass in the first 2 pitches, but then on 2 strikes you break it down and you hit the ball the other way. You don't try to pull the ball at all. So like for him, he grew up playing that way his whole life, so it just so happened it worked.
Right.
But it's not everybody on the Blue Jays player type. You gotta play to your strengths, right?
Totally. Hopefully he will have some type of adjustments there that the Blue Jays can make moving forward. Let's take a look at some of the other changes here. Third base coach. That guy is a new person. Carlos, I hope I'm saying this properly, Feebles, clearly was not on the Jays last year, so we have made a change right there, everybody. As you can see, Luis Rivera, longtime coach of the Toronto Blue Jays at third base. He is no more, so there's a shift right there. Do you expect any type of, is that going to impact a whole lot?
Well, Luis Rivera was the infield coach too. I mean, our infield defense was decent last year. Bo Bichette had a nice improvement. Matt Chapman's always going to be good. Vladdy kind of went down a bit. I'm not really expecting a whole lot of difference. Obviously, I do not know the in and outs of like what his everyday is going to look like, but he's going to have to probably take over for that role. So we'll see how that plays out on the field.
Agreed, dude. And then you kind of get the biggest or most notable change that the Toronto Blue Jays made, and that was with those assistant hitting coaches. Matt Hague, he is getting the promotion up to the MLB. He was with the Toronto Blue Jays minor league systems for a while. Guy did a pretty good job, apparently. Like, he's liked by a lot of the players, so clearly he's doing something well. And let's face it, a lot of these players have gone through our minor league system, so they will have a relationship with them. And let's be honest here. Dave Hudgins, that's what his name.
That was Dave Hudgins, last year.
This guy just was not doing it, dude. Like, it really was, for me, the tweet that came out minutes before the Toronto Blue Jays played a game in which he was tweeting about something, I think, political, and just like completely like had nothing to do with Blue Jays baseball at all. Not that you should be tweeting about Blue Jays baseball in the first place anyways, because you should be doing your job. But anyways, that guy, he's been reassigned. He's not going to be dealing with the offense anymore. Yeah,
like I really do think the more I look at it now, Dave Hudgins' role is just being given to Don Mattingly, because he was the strategist, and now it's going to be Don Mattingly's role to be the strategist. And hey, I would much rather have that as well. And yeah, like, in terms of just Dave Hudgins, I don't even know where the hell he is now. What is his role?
Well, I think he's a developmental guy now, right?
Oh, great.
He's supposed to deal with developing players. I'm not sure where they put him exactly. But if we have a bunch of players that have no idea how to play baseball start coming up to the MLB, we'll all know why. Because Dave Hudgins is the guy who is helping them develop.
Right. But in terms of Matt Hague, any expectations on him? Because it's kind of hard to put expectations on an assistant hitting coach.
No.
My kind of interpretation is, look, if Don Mattingly's the offensive coordinator, he needs to find some people underneath him. Maybe he had some sort of say. Maybe he met with Matt before. Maybe there could be something there. Look, we need guys to help out and support whatever Don Mattingly's going to put into the game plan.
As far as I'm concerned, like, really no expectations for Matt Hague. I mean, I think that now I'm looking at this coaching changes, and I think that this is probably your first step before you go and you make like drastic changes. If the team is bad, of course. If the team is bad in 2024, you kind of did the first step here. And if they're bad, John Schneider goes, maybe Guillermo Martinez goes, maybe like there will be a lot of reworking right there.
Whoa, time for your daily Betway breather. A quick reminder that the best place to bet is on Betway. Must be 19 years of age or older to play. In collaboration with iGaming Ontario, please bet responsibly. Now, back to the content.
But they did as best as they could to maintain the identity of the Toronto Blue Jays coaching staff while making a few minor shifts here. I do think that the Don Mattingly promotion there or changing of his role, that should have an impact on things. And I also do want to make a note here. We know that Guillermo Martinez and some of these other guys, they can know what they're doing because we keep referencing that 2021 year. they were there in 2021. It's not like it was another guy, right? Like I mean, John Schneider wasn't the manager back then.
Right.
So maybe it's a fucking Charlie Montoya thing.
Right,
but they were there dealing with the hitters in 2021. So I think that this coaching staff is absolutely capable of getting these players where they need to be. But just like Guerrero needs to bounce back and Manoah needs to bounce back, so do the coaches.
Yeah, I mean, they do, absolutely. And a lot of people, you know, you bring up Gabriel Martinez, I want to kind of touch on that, because a lot of people, he was under the microscope.
Yeah, totally.
Like, he was getting all the blame. I think we've made at least 2 podcasts talking about firing Guillermo Martinez. Not one last year, I think one the year before that. But, so we've obviously had him under a microscope here on Blue Jays today. Do you think that having him still here is going to be a negative impact on the team moving forward, even though we've kind of switched around some other roles around him? Or?
I was disappointed when they didn't go and they didn't make the big change because I think that everybody after that wild card series where the Toronto Blue Jays scored 1 run in 2 games against the Minnesota Twins, we were looking at this coaching staff and going, okay, if you're not going to get rid of the players, you got to get rid of one of these big guys.
Right,
Guillermo Martinez, if it wasn't going to be John Schneider, it felt like it had to be Guillermo Martinez. They didn't do that, and I've kind of come to terms with the fact that, okay, he has been right in the past. He has been good in the past. If we're going to trust that everybody else is going to bounce back, I guess we're going to run the same strategy here. And it really is one of those situations where if the team sucks in 2024, if we are getting to middle of the season and we're just not hitting, I think that you might even see a change mid-season. Like that's where the conversation will be at.
And I'm wondering what his everyday role is going to be, Guillermo Martinez. You know, is he going to be implementing the strategy, you know, brought in by Don Mattingly? Is he going to be implementing and saying, okay, like, you know, hey, for example, earlier, you know, like, oh, Garrett Cole, and he throws the fastball, like he throws it on pitch number 1, like he'll try to throw it for a strike. You know, let's get on it, right?
Right.
Is he going to be trying to implement that, and what is he using? What is he saying to these players? Because those are the conversations I wish if we had anybody on any Blue Jay coaching staff, if they wanted to come on here and tell me about that, that's something I want to hear. I think everybody else would want to hear that too.
Yeah.
Right? Like, what are you doing that is different? We could sit here all day and go blah 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 blah, but until we have one of these guys come out and actually say, you know, what it is they're doing, we don't know. And I'm really curious to hear what kind of changes they've made.
Well, they're going to need to make some big ones, guys, because just like this is a big year for the team, big year for the players, it is also a massive year for the future of this coaching staff. Folks, let us know your thoughts in the comments down below about all the changes that were made, your thoughts on these coaches. Is it the right move moving forward?
Yeah, and please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And big shout out to all of our current Patreon members, guys. $3 a month to become a Patreon member, and our YouTube members. Big shout out to all of y'all. We appreciate y'all so much.
Thanks so much for watching.
And go Jays, go!